Does your washer sound like this? Well, it could be the transmission. Let me show you how to fix it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this disconnected, we're gonna take it out into the garage, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to dismantle and replace the transmission on your washer. So I'm just gonna say, right now, if you're considering this project and you have a confined space, maybe reconsider. I push it that way. That's off. Dropped it. Great, great, great. There we go. Pull her back. Should be good enough. There we go.
So then, we're gonna wrestle this thing out in the garage.
All right, we haven't even gotten to the hard part yet. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to tilt this forward and we're gonna start loosening some of the screws and bolts underneath. All right, if you can see in here, one of the reasons that I knew, other than the sound, to confirm it was a transmission is you can look around here, and what my buddy told me is that if you see oil spray, which I do have all around here, then you know that that part has gone bad, unfortunately. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take this out underneath. To remove this, you need a T30 bit. Just like that. Comes off like that. There are magnets holding this thing on, so it might take a little bit of effort, but that came off pretty easily. Nice. Next thing we're going to do is undo the electrical clips here. It's just a pinch and a pull. Just like that. Next we're going to take our 10mm and we're going to undo the bolt that's holding these electronics in place. Next I'm going to take this 7mm. I'm going to hand loosen the bolts. Once I've got those broken loose, I'm going to switch off to the drill. Just being extra cautious just to make sure that I don't strip these. When I go to take this last one out, it should drop down, so I'm going to kind of support it with my hands. There's that part. Next thing we're going to do is remove this plastic piece here with a 1/4 inch socket. I tried the 7 and it will not work. There's another one hiding right behind it here. Pulls that away. Lastly, we're going to remove the rest of these 10mm bolts. There should be 3 left. Same idea. I'm going to break them loose first, and we'll take them out the rest of the way. Now we have to remove this spring that you see here. I'm going to do that by feeding a little hook underneath it. And I'm going to leverage off that little O-ring. So these 3 things should just have come off. Now for the fun part, we're going to take out these 2 1/4 inch screws. as well as the plate here. Now we should be able to just slide this forward. We're going to tape down the lid here, just because we don't want that to be another repair we have to make. I want to show you guys this hinge. So at the back of this, see how there's a slot here and there's one over here? So as you lift this lid up, it needs to fall within that hinge. Just like that. So we're going to lift this puppy up, make sure it's on the hinges. Ratchet strap, it's going to go in like this. Nothing crazy, just going to do a single knot here, just to hold everything somewhat in place. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this out. So we're going to pull the basket over just a little bit. I'm going to get this putty knife underneath here and pry it up and over. Once you got all the tabs popped, this should just lift up and out. We'll set this aside. Next, we're going to remove this. Now the lid comes off fairly easy. What you might have trouble getting to, and what you might need to go to the hardware store for, is this bolt is way down here. So you're going to need a couple of extension pieces. Now, I think it calls for a 7/16. I don't have that. I have an 11 millimeter with a 10 and a 5 that'll get me there. If you don't have this upright agitator, then you won't have to worry about any of this stuff. So let's take it down there. Let's see if we can't loosen it up. There we go. If you don't have this agitator tower, then you're going to want to take 2 hooks and put them in these holes here. Let's see, there, like that, and then one on the other side and lift up. Otherwise, if you have the agitator, it's just a simple pull and it should come right out like that. Now for this next part, there is something called a spinner nut. I will leave a link to what it is. That's how you're going to get this piece off. Otherwise, we're going to try, because we don't have one, we're going to try this vice grip method, where we're going to place the vice grips just like that and hit it with a hammer. See if we can't loosen it up. Damage-wise, I would say minimal to none. The vice grips definitely took a beating, but as far as like being vice grips, they still are going to very much work. Kind of heavy. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to reinstall the top lid. Close it down, make sure that everything's in the right spot, and then you're going to put those 1/4-inch screws back in the back of the lid. Then what we're going to do is we're going to tilt it back over and take our new transmission piece and your favorite bottle of dish soap, and we're going to lubricate that O-ring so that this press fit is much easier to do. Check it out. Take note of the orientation here. That's going to matter. On this one specifically, we have to have these holes up here for the ground and for the electrical, and then you have to have your standard spots for the 10 millimeters. And then we're going to put this into place. Not bad. So that was a little bit more of a press fit than it was kind of a firm shove. We're going to start by putting these 10s back in. We're just going to get them started and we'll finish them off with the socket. Whoa. Line up the splines, slide it right on in. Hey, stay in there. Slide it on in. Then add the spring with the plastic piece facing out towards you. Then line up this retainer. Use something to pry it up and over. All right, now we're going to put our ground back in using that 1/4 inch from before. Once that's in, we're going to hook in this piece here and reinstall our 10mm bolt. We will remake our connections with the electrical. And we're going to reinstall our magnet, making sure that nothing has found its way onto the metal. Give it a nice little bath of blue, Loctite there, and let's snug it up. So now that everything is done on our end under here, it's time to flip this thing back over and reinstall the wash basin. Let's remove these 1/4 inches again so we can prop the lid up. Let's pop this baby back in. Give it a little twist until the splines line up. Let's get our special tool. This. Remember this? It's got to go back on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hand tighten this down. Best as we can. And then we're going to grab our DIY tool from before. We're going to go at it the same way. Hand tightening as best we can. I'm holding this and pulling it counterclockwise, rotating clockwise with this hand. And I'm just going to hit it until it doesn't really move significantly anymore. All right, now we're going to put our agitator on from before. Once you got your agitator tower reinstalled, you're going to take that 7/16 or that 11mm and you're going to tighten that bolt down in the middle. Snug it up tight with the hand and then maybe throw a drive socket on it just to really make sure that it is on nice and tight. Then go around and reinstall the top layer. It should just snap into place. Much easier to reinstall it than it was to uninstall it. Take your little lid, put that back on top, and then finally, this will be the last time we're going to remove the strap,
we're going to lower our lid back down as before, making sure not to catch any of the wires or anything on the inside. And then we're going to take our 1/4-inch screws and we're going to put the one on the right, we're going to put the one on the left, and then we're going to take that little cover like we did before and put that one back in with the final 1/4-inch screw. Then all that's left to do, take it back into the house, reinstall the hot and the cold, the discharge pump, and the electrical. Pretty simple overall to replace the transmission. Maybe one specialty tool needed if you can't get at it with the vice grips, but otherwise a very easy, very realistic DIY project that you can do in one day. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, or even a comment if you have more questions. I'm happy to help.
Let's look at the part. Here are the tools that we use for this job.
All right, starting from the top left, you're going to want some gloves, a 3-pound hammer, an 11mm or 7/16 socket. You're going to need 5 + 10 inches of extension to get down through that agitator, some vice grips, a ratchet strap, of course the transmission piece. Then on the bottom row there, we've got just a simple screwdriver, a couple of different ratchets, a T30 drive, a 10mm socket, a 1/4-inch socket, some things to pull that agitator tower out with, a little scraper tool here, and then maybe some blue Loctite, and of course a drill. And that should be everything that you need to accomplish this project.